Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is your match reaction to our win over the weekend. 3-2 against Peterborough. And what was a closer game than it needed to be. We made hard work of it, didn't we? After once again starting slowly in this match. And yeah, very, very bad. But we're going to get into it all and everything and discuss it. I'm going to share my thoughts with you guys. And you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments section as well. And I'll reply to you guys when I'm uploaded this. But look, we are going to get into my thoughts and everything in a moment. But look, make sure you do smash the like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below. Like I said, on just your reactions to it as well. But look, we're just going to get straight into it then. So the team lineup for this game. I mean, when I saw the lineup, guys, I'm going to go through it and I'm going to say, but I wasn't best pleased. That's what I will say. I think, if we go for the team and then I'll kind of react to it. So obviously Lee Nichols in goal as we expected. Back four of Sorensen on the right. Lowe and Watmore in the middle. And on the left, we had Sean Rowan, of course. The two holding midfielders again. I'm going to get into it. Ledson and Kane, which, you know my reactions to that. You know what I feel. Third forward, obviously we had Rusk on the left. Wiles in the 10 and Harness on the right. And then Taylor did get the nod to start this game, which I was very, very pleased about. That was one thing I was pleased about. But look, obviously a total of 4 changes made from the cup game during the week. Obviously Watmore starting next to Lowe. I think that was one of the biggest surprises for me in terms of team selection. Obviously with Feeney missing out altogether. Look at the bench as well, obviously. Liverland, Wallace, Kasumu, Castledine, Redilovic, May and Alves on the bench as well. So that's the bench as well. But yeah, Feeney not involved, Gooch not involved. Don't know any injuries to those guys. In fact, Feeney was out there training with them before the game, I saw. So I just don't get it, to be honest with you. And like I said, I wasn't a fan of the lineup, guys. You've got the likes of Alves and Castledine on the bench who were fantastic. Both fantastic midweek. And what's their reward? They're back on the bench again after showing more than the likes of Wiles and Roos can have in 6 games heading into this one. So why are we not rewarding players for playing good? I don't understand. Yes, we've got a big squad, but if you're just going to continuously put the same players in just because they're your favourites, I'm sorry. You need to play you need to put the best team out, the players that are performing the best. Surely. It's not rocket science. So look, I wasn't best pleased with the fact that Wiles was starting again. Ruskin, who's done nothing the last couple of games either. It doesn't make any sense. We need some creativity in that final third. That's why we brought these players in, because we were desperately needing the fact that the quality in the final third. Like Wiles and Ruskin just aren't doing it. So yeah, so look, that's what I feel about it. Players seem to have automatic starters in this team, no matter how badly they play. So I don't know. Kasumu, I thought would have started. Well, I didn't think I wanted him to start, but I don't think he would have done, because we've seen what Grant's done in the past. He doesn't really start Kasumu often, does he? Apart from if it's a cup game. But for me, I was surprised that he wasn't starting, because we all see it. The midfield combination does not work. Everybody can see it but Grant, for some reason. I don't know. I don't care what they do in training. On a match day, that's what I care about, and how it shapes up on a match day. Sick of hearing, they do well in training, blah, blah. No. You can have the best trainer in it ever, but if they don't produce for you on a match day, then what use is it? You know what I mean? So this narrative of that is just a joke. It's just an absolute joke. We need an engine in that midfield. We've got the likes of Kane and Ledson. They're both similar type players. Why we need legs a lot? We need one of them to have legs in there. So it's not really hard to recognize that. So look, I thought it was poor that the fact that he did, you know what I mean, do the same thing like he's done in the past. I think, like I said, Feeney missing out was a completely strange one in my eyes. Wallace, I mean, look at so Wallace can miss a game, miss a squad, now and again. It's not Wallace should be the one that's taken out if we have to sacrifice somebody, because Feeney, you know what I mean, is the one that for me is ahead of Wallace right now. So why I don't know. But yeah, I love that Taylor started, but apart from that, I was just like, what the heck is he doing here with this lineup? I just wasn't best pleased. But look, the first half, look, I mean, what do we even say about this first half, guys? From the very get-go, it was absolutely terrible. Terrible. Slow, lethargic, zero intensity. Nobody's showing for the ball in that midfield, so we're having to go backwards and sideways constantly. Nobody taking a risk either, in terms of taking responsibility. Nobody doing anything. Didn't look like they wanted to win the game. We was making Peterborough look an amazing side, and the reality is we were facing a side that were bottom of the league, have conceded 11 goals and only scored 2, and we're making them look good because we were that bad. No, yeah, so it was just so flat. It was flat. We wanted a reaction from that game last weekend against Barnsley in the league, and we got nothing. Why? And it's all right saying, oh, we won the game, fine. No, I want to know why this keeps happening in games, because this isn't the first time it's happened in first half of games. Starting slowly like this. And it's going to catch up with us eventually if we continue. And it's going to catch up with us if Grant keeps picking this lineup time and time again, despite not performing for him. This starting lineup that he went with. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again if it isn't working. We need consistency throughout the match. I'm not saying we can play amazing all from the first minute to 90. I'm not saying that. But the reality is we're playing badly for for the majority of the game until we start making the changes. So, yeah, I mean, for me, clearly wrong tactics from the get-go. The team, rubbish, just not the correct lineup. That's how I see it. I know a lot of people out there have said the same. Doing the same thing over and over again is not going to see any change in what we're seeing at the moment with the performances. So what do you do? Well, you've got a big squad now. So choose the players that are performing for you, as I said earlier. It isn't rocket science. But yeah, look, completely lackluster first half. Back to last season's passing, wasn't it? Across the back with no drive whatsoever. Ruskin, for me, in that first half, wow. I mean, he's just abysmal, isn't he? Absolutely, he's been abysmal for so long now, but this game was his worst. And his body language and attitude was a disgrace as well, because he was on my side where I sit in that first half, and his body language and attitude was shocking. Looks completely disinterested. But people are telling me, no, it's not his position. Well, does that mean he doesn't need to look interesting? Does that mean he can't run a little bit more and actually put more effort in? No, it doesn't. So let's stop making excuses for players that are just not performing. So yeah, very, very poor. I mean, look, it was a completely unacceptable performance from every single player out there, and also unacceptable from the manager on the sideline as well, because it was abysmal. And people tell me he's a new coach. Yeah, sure. But does that stop you from picking your best team, the players that are performing for you? No, it doesn't. Maybe you might get some things tactically wrong. But I think the reality is when you're getting both wrong, tactics wrong and the lineup wrong, then you know what I mean. You are going to be up for criticism, I'm afraid. The pressure's on. There's no hiding place in this team. We've got the squad to get automatic promotion now. So there's no hiding place for Grant. He's been backed heavily, and he's got all the players he needs. So that is it. Again, like we've already said, guys, and we say it time and time again, we literally have no midfield. Kane is dreadful. Yeah. Ledson was poor in that first half. But both of them don't have legs. They don't have legs. We need one that has legs in there. That's why you need a Kasumu type of player that's in there. Not playing both like for like. Ruskin was dreadful. Wiles was shocking as always. When he starts games, more often than not, he just hides. I think he'd be very good in a game called hide and seek, because that's what he does in matches. But yeah, I mean, we just look completely immobile in that midfield, and every single week we see this midfield not control any game. That's a massive problem. So it needs fixing, and we need Grant to put out the best team, not his favourites out there. So yeah, it was just such a disappointing first half. Obviously 0-0 at half time. Yeah, just a very, very disappointing, and a lot of questions that needed to be asked in that second half for sure, because there's no way we can accept a performance like that when we're at home and we're playing it like that. Nah, there's no excuses, and we made them look good. We were second best against a team that was bottom of the league and had started the season as badly as they have. It's just not good enough. You know, the referee was garbage as well, by the way. And I'm going to put the referee to blame for how we played that further. But the referee throughout the game was garbage. Had no control of the game whatsoever. Allowed them to do what they want, but it's always the same, isn't it? They're always in favour of the opposition rather than us. Always the case every single week. But look, no excuses for what we saw from ourselves anyway, that's for sure. We can look at the referee, but we have to look at ourselves in that first half, and it wasn't good enough. Second half, I mean, look, we needed changes. That is what I felt when we went into the halftime break. I said, right, we need changes now. Not wait, now. And guess what? The only change he made was an unforced substitution, because Watmore apparently had felt his hamstring and he needed to come off because, yeah, obviously he was feeling his calf a little bit. So the only change that was made at halftime was an enforced one. I'm sorry, I'm missing something here. We've played as badly as we did in that first half, and he has the audacity to keep the same team out there, other than a force, other than a injury substitution. Absolutely disgraceful. Yeah, so completely baffling. And I'm not really sure what was said at half time either, because into the second half, we were just, there was no change. It was just as bad. And because we started the second half as slow as we did and gave away a daft free kick on the edge of our penalty area, fairly central, very, very dangerous area for Peterborough to capitalise on. Who was it? It was Herbie Kane, who was completely off the pace and decided to just stick his leg out and take the man down for some reason. That was a very clever move. And then we ended up conceding. It was a deflection, yes, but I don't really care. You can't be giving free kicks in that area and allowing the opponent to have a strike, and it can deflect. That's what can happen. So we only had ourselves to blame. And yeah, so 1-0 down. And I mean, the pressure was well and truly on at this point. It was just dreadful what we were seeing out there. Finally makes a double substitution in the 56th minute. 11 minutes too late. Castledine and Alves came on for Wiles and Ruskin. And yes, big cheers, because this is what we need in this match. Some creativity. Some players that want the ball. Some players that will drive at the defenders and will try and make things happen. Not players that just go missing for most of the game, if not all of the game. So yeah, good to see these guys brought on. And look, surprise, surprise, when they came on, guess what happened? We started to play well. Surprise, surprise. The intensity was lifted, and we had two creative players on that pitch who always wanted the ball, was showing for it, and the impact they made was outstanding. Within 4 minutes, we equalised. Great ball down the right to Sorensen, who got himself in a very good area, and beat his man as well, got into the penalty area, squares it to Alves, who gets his first goal for the club on his league debut. Brilliant to see. Brilliant work by Sorensen. And all Alves, obviously, right place, right time, slots home. Instant impact. That's what I call an instant impact. And what a player he is. I mean, this is the first time I've seen him in a Town shirt down there and down at the ground. And yeah, obviously, he's just so good. He's such a baller, isn't he? Like, he always wants the ball. He looks like he's so comfortable on the ball. You know what I mean? And he just looks quality. He just looks so good. So yeah, instant impacts, and yeah, we equalise and it's 1-1, and then obviously then we were really finding our groove again. That gave us an even bigger boost to go on and win the match, and obviously that's what happened. Obviously, Castledine involved massively in the build up for the second goal to put us ahead. Nice sprayed ball out to the right for Sorensen. Back heels it to Harness, who squares it. Castledine was about to meet it to have a shot just inside the penalty area, but it was obviously their defender got a foot in. But then it fell to Kirby Kane, who shot it with venom into and it deflected in. But yeah, it was a good strike, a lot of power on it, and yeah, it deflected in. So it was 2-1, and yeah, good goal. But I don't really think that means that Kirby Kane played very well, guys. I'm not going to sit here and say he played well. He didn't. He was shocking. And then the reality is, he's in a position in the number 6 where he needs to be doing his defensive duties and actually, he has to get around the pitch a bit more. But obviously, he hasn't got the legs for it. So you can't really ask a player that hasn't got the legs to do that job for you, because clearly he hasn't got the legs for it. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I just still think he shouldn't be starting every week for me. But yeah, 2-1. And look, I mean, Taylor, special mention to Taylor at the end of this video, actually, by the way. But yeah, Taylor was outside in the match, latched onto a through ball, beats the posh defender for pace, but the heavy touch was met by the goalkeeper, who was in no man's land. I don't know why he was miles out of his goal. He completely made a mess of it. He deflected off Taylor, which then he obviously latches onto from there. And yeah, obviously then it was a bit of a tight angle. It was an open goal, but it was a tight angle at that point. Obviously there were a few defenders around as well for Peterborough. And yeah, then he clearly didn't feel like he could get it in from the angle that he was at, because he was coming in from that, from an angle. So he went inside. He did well to get inside, but then he was off balance. And he struck it against the post. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite get the right connection with it. And off balance, it's always hard, isn't it? So unlucky. And yeah, I don't really know how he missed, to be honest with you. But yeah, see, May did come on as well and made a big impact as well, didn't he? Getting an assist for the third goal. Great through ball to Taylor, wasn't it? Who calmly slots it home, and he deserved that goal. He fully deserved, because I think that if he hadn't have scored that goal, by the way, guys, I think it would have really affected him. And going off the field, he would have felt he would have felt really bad, because I think that if you miss a glorious chance like he did before that, I think it wouldn't have done him any good, would it? So yeah, I'm glad he did manage to get the goal, because now he goes off the pitch feeling good about himself. And again, goal scoring form continues with, 4 goals in 3 matches. So yeah, very good. But yeah, I mean, look, obviously at the end, as we're right at the end, obviously completely switched off for their second goal, and did take the gloss off a little bit, because everybody just switched off and just was half asleep. So yeah. But yeah, full time 3-2. I mean, look, like we already alluded to, a very disappointing first half. Didn't get any better as we went behind very early on in the second half. But we did battle back. The substitutions, again, were massive, changed the game completely. And that was very pleasing for me. But again, the game just completely changed with the introduction of some of our new signings on loan, youngsters Alves and Castledine off the bench. They wanted the ball all the time. Like I said, they made things happen with Alves getting the very important equaliser. Look, and obviously other goals from obviously Alves got one, Kane and Taylor were the goal scorers. But yeah, the man of the match for me has to go to Joe Taylor. He was outstanding in this match, for the entirety of the 90 minutes, and eventually got his deserved goal. And also Sorensen as well, I thought looked good. I don't think I've ever Sorensen has looked a little bit dicey, both like defensively and going forward, but he certainly started to find his groove going forward again now. But obviously defensively, just some good stuff, but still not fully convinced yet of that. But yeah. But look, Alves came on the pitch, as I said, and claimed that left midfield position in my eyes. He looks to be exactly what that left-hand side has needed. And yeah, for me, Ruskin, you're going to have to go on the bench, mate, because you're not performing, you're not looking interested. And if you do play, then maybe we could put him back to fullback. But at the moment, I don't even think he deserves his place in the side, does he, at the moment, with the way he's playing and the lack of interest he's taking. You know what I mean? So, no, I'm afraid Alves has already taken that slot, in my opinion, from what we saw when he came on. Night and day difference to what we saw with Ruskin. Castledine as well came on, and he's miles better than Wiles in that number 10 position. Let's not kid ourselves here. Faster, better dribbler, better passer, and was a big reason for one of the goals. Well, so he came on and he actually made an impact. He was driving forward, trying to make things happen. That's what you want from your attacking players. And for me, as I've already alluded to, a special mention to Joe Taylor. That was his best performance in the town shirt, in my opinion. Certainly my favourite one as well. The effort, the work rate, the pressing, absolutely outstanding. Could have had more on another day, and maybe he should have had more on another day. But he absolutely deserved the one goal he got, and yeah, just brilliant. So fair play, and love to see that. So yeah, obviously we did win the game. Like I said, we jump up to third, but the reality is, guys, yes, we won the game, but again, let's not kid ourselves. We were shocking for 50 until the substitutions came on in the second half, 56 minutes. I think it took us until the 6th. I think it took us till, we didn't get our first shot on target for so long. It's like we're at home. So yeah, things have to change, and the lineups have to be different, because clearly we can all see it, so Grant can see it. So let's just get players in that were performing at this present moment and reward people for playing good, because that's what you're meant to do in a squad. Don't just, if somebody's producing for you, don't just drop them to the bench. You know what I mean? Just because you have your favourites. It's just not great, is it, at all? But look, I'm happy with the win, but I'm just more frustrated because for what we saw in the match, we got the win, but we made it hard work, and I just wasn't very, very happy overall, to be honest with you. And the reality is, if we play like that next week, and in weeks, in future weeks to come, we are going to get found out eventually if we keep starting games like we have been doing. It's just completely and utterly terrible how we've started games for in more than one on one occasion in these matches that we've played so far. So they're below 15 points from a maximum of 21. So yeah, and our home form continues in terms of 100% record. Obviously, we've conceded our first goals as well, so unfortunately that is the case. But yeah, can't really complain. But look, thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you do drop a like, subscribe to something new, and let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section what you made of this game. But yeah, I appreciate your support. I'll be back for the prediction show on Wednesday. Take care. And as always, up the town, Lee Grant's Barmy. See you soon, guys. Take care.